Welcome, YouTube, to another episode of the MuteAll podcast. I am your host, Paladin. Today is Monday, February 19th, the day after week 5 of the NALCS. This weekend was very telling for a lot of different reasons. This, like I was saying, this marks the halfway point. By now, we kind of know how teams are going to play. Now, obviously, teams can get better, teams can get worse, but for the most part, teams sort of, it's either you have a trajectory of going up or down at this point. So we kind of know for the most part where these teams are going to be sitting. First part of the show, what I want to do today, I just want to run down basically the standings of where we're sitting at week 5 going into week 6. So what do we have here? So number 1, and like I said, I've been saying this, I don't think anybody saw this coming. We have Echo Fox in first place at 9-1, followed by Cloud9 at 8-2, Clutch Gaming and Team Liquid both sitting at 6-4. Fifth place is accompanied by 100 Thieves with a 5-5 record. TSM and FlyQuest at 4-6. Counterlogic Gaming and Optic Gaming sitting at 3-8. And Golden Guardian sitting at 2-8. Now, or 3-7, I'm sorry. Counterlogic Gaming and Optic Gaming sitting at 3-7, and Golden Guardian sitting at 2-8. I want to say that I'm super surprised by how the ranking systems have gone, and I have to be. I am. I'm completely surprised. I'm disappointed in a lot of ways, and also super excited, for how some of these teams are playing. Really, the biggest, I want to say the few teams that are actually impressing me the most. Obviously, I can go and say Echo Fox. Obviously, I can go and say Cloud9 and how well they're playing after getting rid of Impact and contracts and bringing in Licorice and Svenskeren. I could say that. Honestly, the two teams I'm more excited for, because Echo Fox, a lot of people had Echo Fox kind of sitting at that between that 5 and 7 range, and they're blowing teams out of the water. Now, I think they'll stay on top, and they should be the biggest surprise of the split. However, there are two other teams that kind of caught my eye, and I'm really excited to see how they're playing moving forward. And those two teams are FlyQuest and Clutch Gaming. And you say, well, why? One of those teams is, doesn't even have a winning record. That's true. It's true. However, when you look at FlyQuest, and basically for the first 3 weeks, they had Keen, who, if you guys know, that is their substitute mid laner. Now, Keen is he should be on an LCS team. He could be on an LCS team, but they did a lot of their practicing with Fly. Fly was the guy that they wanted to bring in, who really makes this roster, could make this roster a high caliber, team, a very conflicting team to play against. Just from his experience in the LCK and the kind of player that he is, combined with Flame, this team is really good. And I think this team is going to continue to get better. I think the one big thing they need to do is find a reliable support that they can play around. I don't think Stunt or JJ, whatever his name is, I don't think either one of them are the answer. I think Stunt has potential, but from what I've seen so far, I'm not really impressed. I don't know if it's the meta, this champion select that he's going through. It's just not really in good. But the fact that Fly has come in, and they beat Opti Gaming, which is, Last week they beat TSM, right? They beat TSM last week? Oh, no, they beat 100 Thieves. I'm sorry. But they beat 100 Thieves last week. They look really good. And I can see them winning more going into the future. I mean, next week they play Golden. Next week they play Team Liquid. I think they can beat Team. I think they can beat TL. I truly think they can beat TL, and they're gonna play 100 Thieves again. That could be 2 wins right there. You tally those up, they're at 6-6, easily. Now the other team. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water. The other team, Clutch Gaming. Clutch Gaming kind of started off a little poor. Actually, no, they started off good. Then they hit some sort of rough patch where they played against the best teams, and they kind of started to falter. But the way that I've been watching Clutch and how they've been performing, it's impressive. It's impressive. I mean, they have this week they tallied their first 2-0 week, beating TSM and FlyQuest. The FlyQuest game, kind of knew it was going to happen for the most part, but then they beat actually, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the wrong team. They're actually on a 4-0. That they've had 2-0 weeks in a row. I apologize, Clutch Gaming. I apologize. They beat TSM back-to-back weeks. This team looks really strong. Even Solo seems like he's not on the licorice stage yet as being this, outbreak rookie sensation, but he's looking more solid. And that's good. It's good because he is the weakest part of this team. And if you bring him into the fold and he's playing well and he's on a solid, he's in solid standings and, his attitude's right and he's not, super tilted and toxic, this team can play very, very good and continue to play good. I would like to see them match up. When do they match up against Echo Fox again? Actually, they play Cloud9 next week. So that's actually going to be a good game. I'm excited for that game. Echo Fox, Cloud9, I don't really want to spend too much time on them. Cloud9, I've been saying it for the past 2 weeks now. Licorice is a top 3 top laner. He is in my book. The Lucian game was very pathetic and cringy to watch, but they said he practiced it, but I don't know how much of that Lucian top he's practiced. I think he got really confident and a little cocky and said, you know what, I'm going to play Lucian top against the person who brought Lucian top into the meta as sort of like a, haha, if I beat you with this, I'm the best top laner, and he got smacked. I can see that matchup going differently next time. Even though they've gotten stomped both times they've played against Echo Fox, they got to change something. Maybe they need to play more through Sneaky and Smoothie in bot lane. Maybe they got to give Jensen a lot more resources and just leave Licorice in the side lane. I don't know. I want to move on here to the teams that have been the most disappointing for me. TL, TSM, and CLG. These are the three main teams from last year that are, these are 3 big franchises outside of, Cloud9, and all 3 of them look pathetic. I'm going to start with the most pathetic one, that's CLG. They have not looked good all season. Something's going on with this team internally, just from what I'm seeing. They're not playing together. Bot lane looks atrocious. The shot calling is just terrible. I watched a game, I don't know if it was this week or last week, where they played against TSM. I think it was last week. Rainover died in a 5v4, or died in a 5v5. TSM collapsed on Baron, and CLG with no jungler just decided to walk into the Baron pit 5v4 and try to fight. Everybody died, and then they lose the game off of it. And it was the most anticlimactic ending to a game. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess they lose, right? I mean, they look horrendous. I don't really know what they can do to pick up the pieces. My thought before the beginning of the season was giving the ball to Darshan, letting Darshan run the show, funnel everything through Darshan. because I felt the spot lane was not going to be very good, and I was right. I felt Reignover wasn't going to be fully acclimated to this system and how they want to play, and I was right. Huhi, average, nothing really to talk about there. But Darshan, in my opinion, could have been the guy to really take this team over the top, and he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball so much, and I don't think it's truly his fault. I just don't think. I don't think he has the resources to be able to do what he wants to do, and I don't know if he's not as good as he once was. I don't want to say that, but if they have another week like they did this week, I may be considering calling that out. We'll see. Hopefully not, because I really like Darshan. I've been a fan of Darshan ever since I've watched, started watching the LCS. So these Zion, Spartan, Jax, I bought my first champion was Jax because of him. So hopefully they can pick it up. He can pick it up. I don't think CLG will pick up anything except for L's. The other team, we'll move up the list, TSM. I don't think this team is making playoffs, or they're going to make playoffs and get knocked in the first round. This team looks terrible. Bjerg looks fine. Mike Young looks like he's playing a little bit better. Hanser looks a little sketchy. Bot lane just looks horrendous as well, just like CLG. I don't know why. I don't know if they have the NA syndrome where these European players come over and they play on TSM and they don't play very well. I could see if TSM does not make playoffs, I'm going to call it right here. If TSM does not make playoffs, either Sven or Mithy is gone. I don't know if it'd be the end of the split or if it'll be the end of the entire season, moving into season 9, but one of them would be gone. My money would be on Sven. Actually, no, my money would be on Smithy. Mithy would be gone. But we'll see. I don't think they're gonna. I don't want to say they're gonna make playoffs, but then I feel like I'm gonna say that, and then the next 2 weeks they're gonna just win every game. It's like I have that kind of luck. But they look pathetic. The team though that out of these three, that looks more pathetic, I guess, than CLG and TSM is Team Liquid, even though they're the only team that has a winning record. TL losing to Golden Guardians should be very concerning to TL players or TL fans. Even of course the players, but to fans, because they lost to the worst team in NA. Like, this team is supposed to be a world's competing team. A team that can compete with the likes of, Killzone Dragons, KSV, SKT, KT. This team looks bad. And from watching the games, maybe it's just me. You guys can comment on this. Impact does not look happy playing on this team. And obviously, if they're losing, of course, you're not going to look happy. But just during the games, he just doesn't seem very happy. And I don't know if it's because... Okay, so he left SKT, came to C9. It was like, oh, okay, this is great. Came to C9. There was not one alpha dog on Cloud9's roster. I don't think Jensen really has that kind of attitude. I don't think Sneaky has that kind of attitude. But moving over to Team Liquid, he's on a team now with Doublelift, who has been the alpha dog in NA. And it seems like maybe they're having a conflict of playstyles here, where one person wants to, have the resources funneled through them, like Doublelift, so he can carry, and Impact is used to getting some form of resources, funneled to him. That way he could be the carry. And I think there's a system where both of them can work. One game, one of them pops off, the other game, the other one pops off. But it doesn't seem like they like to share. They don't want to share the spotlight. They don't want to share the resources. They kind of want to be that carry, and they may do interviews and say, "Oh no, it's everything's fine, blah blah blah. We just got to play together." And I think deep down one of them dislikes each other, and they're trying to air it out. I definitely think the loss to Cloud9 really hurt Impact, and I don't know if that's what's affecting him, but he definitely looks a little bothered. Hopefully they can pick it up because they were my number 2 seed. They're looking. It's not looking good for Team Liquid. It looks like they're going slowly on a downward spiral, and I hope next week they can pick it back up, because if they win next week, they play against Echo Fox, correct, on Sunday? Yeah, they play FlyQuest, which is winnable, but now it's like, FlyQuest should have more confidence to beat TL than TL should have confidence in beating FlyQuest. And then they play Echo Fox. They could win. They could get smacked both these games. If they lose both games, I'm going to be singing a different tune where I'm just going to say TL's done. They may make playoffs, but it's going to be a little disappointing, especially without the money that they spent. Now, the last 3 teams, I didn't forget about them, but these teams were not really, I wasn't super shocked to see where they're placed at, at this point in the season. I feel these teams are kind of where they should be. 100 Thieves, I feel like they're very inconsistent. They're kind of a mid-level team. They'll make playoffs, make it past the first round, may get bounced in the first round. Just depends on which team shows up. Optic Gaming and Golden Guardians, even though I'm a little surprised on the fight that Optic Gaming has been putting up, and recently as Golden Guardians have been putting up, I still think they belong in the bottom 2 spots. They're just worse than every other team. They don't have the talent at the moment. It is what it is. You can't really, hard work. That's the only thing that's going to change this, or reaching into their pockets and, changing some things around. It's the only way that these teams are going to get better. I was going to do a honor and report segment on this show, but honestly, I don't think much has changed since last week, and I think going through all the teams was sort of a better rundown than just singling out a few players, because if I would do it, it's going to be Hooney more likely, and probably Licorice as my report, just from how bad he was playing in that Echo Fox game, basically trolling. But yeah, I think I will. All right, I'll say this. And I was thinking about this last night after the games. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about this after the games, and I was trying to come up with some possible outcomes for maybe not the end of spring split, but maybe the end of summer. I see a few possible team changes. I think you'll see some swapping of CLG and TSM. I'm not gonna say who, but I may see some swapping there. And I definitely think Levi will be entering the LCS maybe next split. I'm just trying to figure out for which team. But that's going to do it for the show here. With all my crazy predictions, I'm going to run through what I think is going to happen next week for week 6. Let's see, Saturday. Let's see, Saturday. So Saturday we have 100 Thieves versus Cloud9. I'll take Cloud9 winning that. CLG and Clutch Gaming. I got Clutch. Echo Fox TSM. Echo Fox. Optic Gaming Golden Guardians. This game actually may be a little exciting, but I actually think Golden Guardians may win this game. Optic Gaming, the one thing I will say about Optic Gaming is they have a good comeback sort of attitude, sort of the same way that Golden Guardians does, but Optic Gaming makes a lot more mistakes than Golden Guardian does. Even though they both make a ton of late game mistakes, Optics just a little bit worse. I have Golden Guardians winning that game. And Team Liquid FlyQuest, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that FlyQuest wins this game. Moving on to Sunday, we have TSM versus Optic Gaming. I'm going to say Optic Gaming. I don't trust TSM. I can't. I want to, but I'm going to go with Optic Gaming. FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. I got FlyQuest. Team Liquid and Echo Fox. I believe Echo Fox gives them the business again. Counterlogic Gaming and Golden Guardians. Counterlogic Gaming should win that. And Cloud9 and Clutch. Cloud9. Clutch should not lose. I mean, Cloud9 should not lose that game. If it gets close late, I'm still picking Cloud9. Clutch has no business winning that game. But that's gonna do it for us here on the MuteAll podcast. If you guys have any predictions of your own, please leave them in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I'm hoping, I know the podcast this is my 4th one. But hopefully, maybe by the end of the split, maybe by the end of the season, we'll start gaining we'll start gaining some traction here. I would like to do some other things with the podcast, like bring people on, have some more, I guess, what's the word? Having just more entertainment for you guys on the podcast here. So, but that will do it. Everybody have a good night, and I'll see you guys next week.